Welcome back to another episode of DIY Projects with Charles. Today I am working on a 2008 Jeep Grand Cherokee, and the radio on this unit, it's an aftermarket radio, Pioneer, is stopped working. So I've got to replace the radio. So at any rate, there's a large bezel around this entire center console, including the radio, and you basically have to kind of get up underneath it. There you can kind of see it starting to move, and then you can pop out the whole assembly. See if I can get on this side here. You got to be careful not to scratch up the bezel itself, but you're trying to get all the way up underneath there so you can lift the whole thing and pry the whole thing out. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back one. Okay, turns out that this little bezel at the bottom that goes around the shifter mechanism also has to come off in order to get this the bigger bezel out. So that's part of it. So I had to shift the gear shifter into drive in order to get it out of the way so that I could fold the whole the center console, the center stack portion of the dash down. So four screws in each corner. There's a screw, so we'll remove those screws and then get into the head unit itself. All right, once those four screws are removed, you should be able to pull the whole head unit out. And then we can get back behind and see what all wires need to be swapped. Some of these are directly spliced in. Some of them are plug and play. So I'll get in here and see what I can make of this, and then we'll go to the next step. Alright, so it looks like some of these old connectors I am going to be able to use, and some of them I'm not. Let's see here if I can get this light into a place where we can actually see some things. So this one right here, that's the antenna. So that's easily interchangeable. That's a 3.5 millimeter audio jack, so that's probably for the microphone that's connected to that was added when this vehicle was when this radio was installed. So this would be like for your hands-free operation. The microphone in here is still working, so I will probably reuse this without having to rewire everything. So that's a plus. This cable over here, I haven't quite figured out exactly what that is for yet, so I'll try and figure that out. This stuff was auxiliary connections that were obviously never used, so they've never been connected to anything. This is the primary audio connector here. So I've got to replace this with the one specific for the radio that I am putting in. Of course, that'll be fun because you have to marry up all of the wires. This one over here, that is, I'm not sure exactly what that's connected to, but It looks like a speaker connection, but I don't know why there's only one of them, so that part doesn't make sense unless it's going to not quite sure. Anyways, there was an HDMI cable in here, which was set up so that you could run you know, a video input to the radio, and the USB back here in the back, a couple of USB spots actually. Anyways, those are all getting removed. The unit that I'm trying to replace this with, I mean, if you can see this, the size of this thing, it's kind of hard to tell. It's a good size unit. This thing is probably 8 inches across, 4 inches thick, and probably 8 inches deep. I mean, it's a good size head unit. So at any rate, what's going back to replace it? See if I can get an idea from here. This is what I'm replacing it with, which is probably 3 inches deep by the same, whatever, 8 inches or so wide by maybe 4 inches tall. So nowhere near as deep. The other one was 8 inches deep. This is only 2.5 or 3 inches deep. So it's a smaller head unit, which is pretty common. Many of the replacement units are smaller these days. This head unit that I'm replacing has the ability to take DVDs, and so that's one of the reasons for its size. I'm sure this replacement one does not, and so that's for comparison reasons. You can kind of see what's going on there. All right, I'm going to get into the wiring on this thing, see what it takes to get that main wiring harness swapped to the correct one, the new one, and hopefully it'll be easy to identify the wires from the old going into the new, and if so, then that makes the process that much easier. So stay tuned. Okay, now I've got this. I think I got most of this wiring figured out now. I've got it's basically color coded from the previous radio, so purple to purple with a black tracer to purple with a black tracer, that sort of thing. So I just married up the other wiring harness from the previous radio to this one, and had to find the trigger wire for the backup camera, the one that indicates that the vehicle is in reverse. Once I found that, I was able to tie it into the new radio. So that wire is connected. Power and ground, of course. Power is usually that red wire you see right in front. This one here is the power. The black wire is ground. That one over there. It's kind of hard to see. That one. So at any rate, once you get power and ground connected, and you just test that with your voltmeter to make sure that you got the right ones connected, then it's just a matter of wiring up the other stuff. So like I said, backup cameras connected. I was able to use the previous backup camera wiring. The microphone, I used the previous radio's microphone, so I'm good there. Didn't have to run any new wires that way. I ran the video wire feed from the previous backup camera to here, the antenna wire from the previous radio to here. So a lot of it is in fact plug and play, but you do have some wiring that you have to sort out in order to get it all put together the correct way. So anyways, this radio did not have a mounting flange. So I took the mounting flange off of the other radio, was able to pair it up with holes on the side of this one. So I've got a mounting flange in place for it. So now I can put it in the dash without any issues. So you may have to get a separate mounting flange if your radio doesn't come with it and the previous one doesn't have it, because you will need to be able to mount it obviously in the dashboard. So anyways, let me go ahead and put this all back together, button it up, and we'll kind of go from there. All right, wrapping this thing up. I've got the radio installed now. All of the trim pieces and everything back together, pretty good shape now. I don't have the vehicle running right at the moment, but I can shift into reverse, and it does see the backup camera, so that portion of it is working the way it's supposed to. So happy with the install. A little bit tricky on the wiring side, but overall not too bad. Spent maybe 2 hours trying to get this thing all together. So good with it the way it is. I've got to go through and program everything, which is not done at this point, but it started. Anyways, thanks again for watching this episode, and hope to see you again later. Please select the subscribe button if you like what you saw. Thank you.